Good evening, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm just waiting on Miss Rita Jairath and Sonali Swami to join in on the live, and we'll begin the session shortly. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you for waving. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hi, Sonali. Sonali is here. Hi, Sonali. Good evening. Am I audible? Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Am I audible?
Hey.
Sonali, I'm just waiting on Rita to join in on the live.
Sorry, I think it's pausing. The video is pausing. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it is better. I'm just waiting for Rita to join.
That's okay. That's okay. Do
Yeah.
you want me to connect later? Or can I just say hi to everyone
Yes.
who's joined?
You can say hi to everyone. People have already started joining in. We already have 200 viewers. Yeah, I've just sent the invite.
Okay.
Hi Rita.
Hi, glad to see
Hi.
you. Tonight.
Finally.
It's so special. Yeah,
So good to
Uh,
see you, Rita. You
indeed,
look amazing as
same here.
always.
I reciprocate that.
hi guys. Thank you for joining in on a Saturday evening, and it's heavily raining in Bangalore. So the
Yes.
internet might be a little sketchy today. That's how internet
Yeah.
works in India, right? I mean, if it rains, if it starts raining, then the broadband is down. So I really hope it doesn't turn out to be, that way. So yeah, without further ado, I think we'll start the conversation. We already have 150, 160 odd viewers who have already joined in. So, guys, thank you for joining in. I'll just give a brief introduction about Miss Rita first. She's the first woman ever to compete in the Amateur Olympia. She's also the first woman from India to compete in Arnold Classic. And finally, she is also the first Asian woman to feature as an IFBB Pro League international judge. Moving on to Sonali, she is a bronze medalist at the Asian Bodybuilding Championship, and she is also a certified Zumba and TRX trainer. So, I mean, the CV speaks for itself for both of you. And let's just begin the conversation. The first question is open to both of you, and it's a pretty basic question, just as an icebreaker question. How did the fitness journey start for the both of you? And I think Rita, you should go first here.
Okay, mine was very unconventional as it goes because I think both of us started very early, much earlier than the fitness industry really boomed in. I was a lot into swimming and skating championships earlier because I had to teach my son. He had a bit of he was a born autistic child, and it is said that these children have cerebral hypoplasia, and for that I needed to teach him balancing exercises, and I just continued my fitness journey with that. Bodybuilding per se was not very much omnipresent in Indian society, and it was in his teenage that I helped him to start it, and it was along with him that I realized that I have a flair for weight training. And early 2000s I started actually getting into bodybuilding. So now at this stage of my life, I've seen the lives of, I have a lot of experience in my personal life, and I feel we should be very, very strong and functional and live life to our fullest potential until the end of our life. So I just want to just carry it on in respective ways, in whatever way you can. So I like to be associated with the industry, and that's where I truly belong.
Yeah, thank you, Rita. You spoke about your kid. We'll probably get into that in the latter half of the conversation. So
Sure.
moving on, Sonali, how did your fitness journey start?
My fitness journey, I would say relatively late because I mean, it's quite subjective, although now I say it's never too late. But I started when I was almost 30, 37 is when I got into the industry. I got introduced to weight training. But before that, I've been into dancing and I was working as a group fitness instructor with Fitness First. But again, everything happened after the marriage, after the kids, somewhere in 2000, like Rita. But let me tell you that it's the best thing that's happened to me. I know, especially women, especially after they're married, they become mothers. Their life revolves around their family, their kids. Everything is about others. Everything is about others. So I'm so glad that now it is not just being taken seriously as a sport, bodybuilding, but in general people are talking about leading a healthy lifestyle. And thanks to the COVID, I would say in a way it has been a blessing in disguise. Everybody has been talking about immunity, everybody's been talking about health, staying fit, taking care of each other, which is just what we needed, I think.
Yeah, you put a very solid point here. This is what even I experienced because of COVID, especially in India, the citizens of the country suddenly started speaking about fitness and wellness. I think that is a boon which the pandemic has provided us. Well, the Indians in general, because if you look at the foreign countries, people are still they are in a better, let's just say they are in a better position than us. They are educated about this front and they respect it. And in the past 8 or 9 months, I think this conversation revolving around fitness and wellness, it has started booming, especially after the pandemic. So I think you
Absolutely.
put a very solid point here. And yeah,
Yes.
Rita, you wanted to add something there?
Yes, I would really like to add because not many people in India would be aware of this, but we have a women's organization which is in 150 countries. I'm the chairman in India for that, and in fact, the founder in UK, she told me that you resign from this, and I want you to be the global chairman for the health and wellness department. And I said that why don't you have a doctor, a medical doctor? I'm not a medical doctor. So she said, no, we want, the whole world is entirely now focused on preventive care because we realize that
Hmm.
because you fall sick, the doctor cannot cure you. There'll be, comorbidities and, the multifunctional failure, multi-organ failures. So we need to put that in place and then the quality of life becomes so much better. So they're working in collaboration with United Nations and we're just taking it to the next level. And this realization has come recently. Otherwise, even the United Nations or the World Health Organization was initially completely focused upon cure, not the prevention. So now this
Yeah.
has brought a very huge thing, and for generations to come, it's going to be really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that, Rita. Moving on. So, both of you started your fitness journey after becoming a mother. So, what are the challenges you faced in your journey being a mother? So, I think Sonali, you should go first here.
um, Anirudh, I think everybody is aware of the fact that bodybuilding it's quite relatively new sport, and especially when we're talking about women. I started in 2013. It was very difficult for people around me to digest the fact that somebody who is already married, a mother, and or nearly touching 40s is actually lifting weights. I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds of questions like, why do you want to do it? It's for men. I mean, and I completely understand where they were coming from. If somebody would have, asked me 10 years, probably 10 years ago that, would you be, doing lifting, or would you be competing in bodybuilding? I would have, given them a glance. I mean, what the hell are you talking about? Because that's the mindset, and of course, lack of education. So I did understand the fact that there were many questions. Why are you doing it? What do you want to prove? You already have a man in the house. It's not for women. Certainly not for you. You're because I was an instructor. I was already quite lean. So when you talk about fitness, the first thing that comes to your mind is, okay, you want to lose weight and you want to get thin. Okay, you've just delivered, or you're a mother, you want to lose those extra kilos. So probably that's what everybody, thinks about. Um, so when I started lifting weights, it was challenging because I had that mindset whether I would be able to do it. So it came from within, because I'd been hearing so much about it, and the fact that others were pushing me back and judging me. The society was judging me. Luckily, I have a very supportive family, very supportive family. My in-laws are extremely supportive, my parents, my husband. So I mean, I'm here because they believed in me, and they, instilled that thing in me that, you can do it no matter what. But the questions were like, even from the hardcore Hindu fanatics would message me asking to stop it completely. ये आपको शोभा नहीं देता है, ये हिंदुत्व के खिलाफ है, and ये कल्चर नहीं है हमारा, ये आप बाहर के लोगों को कॉपी कर रहे हैं, और दिस इज अ मेंस स्पोर्ट, इट्स अ मेंस स्पोर्ट, यू डू नॉट हैव टू डू एनीथिंग. बट आई अंडरस्टैंड women face the same issues when they started playing cricket. Women face the exactly same issues when they started playing tennis or any other sport. When they were flying planes, they wanted to fly the plane. I come from an army background. When they wanted to join army, it was the same problem. So I was quite prepared. But yes, at some, there were times when I was questioning my decision.
Yeah, so you talked about being, coming from an army background. So, I mean, does that mentality helped you in your journey?
Absolutely. The D, I stand by, the determination, the discipline, the dedication. I would see my father getting up early in the morning, going for his work. I would see my father has actively participated in Kargil Operation Vijay. So I have he's gone to Sri Lanka for so I had seen it all. So it wasn't that difficult. But the thing is, when you have your friends, friends talking about you, when you have your peers talking about you, it kind of raises that question inside your head, that am I doing the right thing? Is it that big a deal that, a woman at 37 has just started lifting weights, and it's such a big deal that people are talking about it, and that people have stopped calling, and they stopped calling, inviting me to the parties, or they would think that, okay, anyway, she's not going to eat, she's not going to come, she's very strict, I don't know वो क्या करना चाहती है, क्या बताना चाहती है, क्या प्रूफ करना चाहती है. तो ये सारी चीजें थी. When your friends are talking about it, it's, it hurts. But
Yeah.
not anymore. Seriously, not anymore.
Thank you, Sonali.
Yeah.
So I'll loop in Rita here. Rita, what are your views?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely ditto what Sonali has said. There are various aspects of it, and of course, when I started, it was to help my child, and I had to stay there. And it was, almost a decade earlier, maybe perhaps. So I had to really fight it out. I actually went and qualified myself. I studied it so that I can, argue at a technical level and have it all documented. And I trained with some of the best coaches in the world who were Olympia champions. I trained with Dennis James and with Shannon Day, at Bombshell Fitness in Florida. I went and stayed there. Eventually, I went on to training with at Kuwait also with Ahmed Askar. So with all that technical knowledge and aligning myself with them and actually going and competing in US and even countries like Czechoslovakia or Spain. And, there were people who would look at me and say, we're so glad, we feel honored standing second to you when we see a woman from India doing that, because we have a different perception of India. In India, per se, when women would come to the gym, these women would tell me the kind of struggles they had, that husband would tell them, you can stay at the gym. Why you can do household work, and why do you really need to go to the gym? But you need a structured training course. You need a structured kind of schedule to actually work on your weak points and strong points, so that you can have a very well aligned and strong body, a very well balanced musculature to take you to the end of life. Because all these difficulties, they start setting it at an older age. Once you cross, say, 45, 50, that is where when you're young and you have a certain level of wear and tear, maybe perhaps in the knees or the hip joint or the ball and socket joint, you will not realize, because it's very minimal. It's over a period of time. It's sports related wear and tear. But when you grow older, it manifests itself in the form of pain and inhibits you, even in the day-to-day activities. So that is the point where you get to know where your weak points are and you start working on that. It's so important for a woman to have structured exercise and know her body, align it well, correct the postural imbalances. As a mother, I didn't have many challenges, because that is what I was exactly doing. But I did hear a lot from my neighbors, like, oh, she's married. Why do you need to make a figure now? Why do you need to look good now? So I feel that people, all the women who have been there, right from the beginning, have had a certain role in changing this mindset. All of us, who were there, in the early 2000s and, up to 2015, I think in the last 5 or 6 years, this industry has really boomed, and we have a whole plethora of women standing right there. So I'm so glad that there has been a paradigm shift, a radical realignment, I must say, in the mindset of the society. It's really, really important. And as they say, if a mother is fit, then the entire family does. Like,
Yeah.
nobody who is in touch with me goes untouched by the aspect of fitness. They look at me and they say, oh, she's able to work. And so, they keep the student alive in them. And so it really helps for women to, it's so important and so relevant for women to be fit. And my inspiration, if I may add, it comes from women who are laborers or farmers in the villages. Because we say that women shouldn't lift heavy weight. Isn't that really, a kind of paradox? It's a contradiction to what you're making the women in the villages do. The women lift heavy weights, they walk long distances, they carry their children, they carry heavy weight, water, and they're working in the farms whole day. And I actually go to the sports complex where I go for my early morning walks. I talk to the women laborers there and I ask them, are you not tired? They say, no, we work the whole day, and they're all, with minimal nutrition, they're doing that kind of labor. So
Yeah.
actually, they should be, our greatest inspiration. And I always have that. My father is also from a defense background. He was in the Air Force. He was, of course, in the first, because he was older, obviously, from the pioneering batch after 1947. And so, he had imbibed a lot of qualities, and I got to see a lot how Air Force was, literally in the beginning. And I was part of the Golden Jubilee celebrations in 1982. I worked a lot there. So that is the reason why I learned swimming, and at a very, very early age. So being from the defense background, I absolutely understand what Sonali says when she says her father is from the army. Definitely defense children are definitely different. We've seen our parents working out more in the morning, going for parades. And, he was, of course, in the education psychology, training pilots, fighter pilots. So we've seen it all. And it's really nice today that I have with me Sonali from a defense background.
So, Rita, you spoke about training in Czechoslovakia and the US. So,
No, I
what do
didn't
you
train in
think?
Czechoslovakia. I competed in Czechoslovakia. I'm proud.
Okay, okay, I'm really sorry. So, you trained in US,
Yeah.
right? So, what do you think about the environment, the fitness and wellness environment in the country? So, are the coaches well, educated? So, can the training here in India, is it at the same level today as the training that is being provided in the US?
Very much. Now it is really changed. We have education, fitness education. Earlier also, I think they're very, very passionate. I think Indians are far more passionate, but there are a lot of myths. This month, I have actually written a article. It's this very month in Crunch Today. Where about the myths that are there in the society. What happens in India is people go and they mix what is the traditional way. You have to be very clear about your goals. Like if you're doing bodybuilding, it's a different goal. They just mix up everything. The ultimate target, they have to be clear that bodybuilding is not boxing. It's not a performance related sport. It's more of a visual presentation. So you need to get things in perspective. But when it comes to biomechanics, when it comes to physiology, when it comes to the form and technique, they're really good. And I think they might be that bit better. The problem, the main thing which I imbibe from US is that how they are so disciplined and they are really beyond taste and all that stuff. Like I was staying at with Dennis James at one point of time for a prolonged period of time, and they were all like, the entire family would, how they would measure, even if they measure like leucine, they would actually measure it on a kitchen weighing scale, and there was nothing ridiculous about it. They measure everything, everything. Like when I stayed in Florida with the Bombshell Fitness headquarters, they don't think too much about what they're eating. This is the diet, and the kind of mindset and the psychology they have towards their food and exercise, and what they can take away from it. The message is more in the mind and the psychology of how you carry out your activities in life. That, I think, is still the difference. When it comes to the technicalities, I think Indians are absolutely brilliant in science, and that is why you see even Indian doctors worldwide, they're really applauded. If you travel to Europe, they say we want an Indian doctor. The Europeans themselves say that. So I think it's more in the mind and the psychology and the attitude towards fitness. I'll give you an example. Like my son was studying in UK, and I actually saw people looking at girls who would wear, say, a short dress, and she would have like big calves. They said that you need to deserve to wear a dress like that. We really respect you. You must have done something great to have a body like that. Whereas here, you may be perceived as, being, say, vulgar or, cheap or something like that. So it is also the psychology. I think it's more of that than an attitudinal difference than the technical aspect.
Thank you for that, Rita. Coming to you, Sonali, you are a mother to two teenagers. So, how do your kids feel about your career?
I sincerely hope that they absolutely love what I do. In fact, they have attended one of my competitions, Muscle Mania, which happened here in Bangalore, and they were thrilled when I was, presented with the trophy. They were there, they were cheering, for me. The best part is they would come and tell me that, my friends are following you on Instagram. They are a huge fan of yours and they want to know how to get six packs, how to build muscles. But, the best part about all of this, Anirudh, is the fact that all four of us, in fact, have, it's been 3 months now that we have started learning calisthenics. I never imagined that they would actually be enjoying it, but trust me, they're like monkeying around. My son would 14 on Tuesday, and he can do 10 good, solid, with good form push-ups. I'm surprised. The fact that how, all they need is that exposure, all they need is bit of guidance, all they need is the support, and they can do it. So I was just wondering, why we are not encouraging sports. Yes, we do encourage cricket. Yes, we do encourage some very conventional, sports. But what about the unconventional sports? There are so many things that kids can do, not just in sports, but there are other, other fields as well. Why are we just talking about being a doctor or a civil, why just go to civil services, or why just be an engineer? There are so many things that kids can do. So I know now they appreciate it even more because they understand, एक push-up के लिए कितनी मेहनत लगती है. So when my son started, he could barely do one push-up. He was doing it on his knees. Yesterday I shared all the 8 videos with him that see your progress. From one push-up on your knees, he could do 10 good, amazing, solid push-ups, and he was so proud of himself. My daughter is learning headstand and handstand, and it's wonderful. It's lovely to see them appreciating all the stuff that they can do. I mean, they understand the fact that your body can achieve so much. It's all in your head. It's all in your mind that's stopping you from doing things. If you just, give it your all, if you just, believe it, there is 100% you can achieve it. So I'm so glad to see that now they appreciate, they understand that what is nutrition, what can good nutrition do to your body, um, what can staying fit, building strength can do to your body, and how good you feel at the end of the day when you've accomplished that one good push up, one rep, or one pull up or one chin up. The feeling that you get, that जो चीज आप नहीं कर पा रहे थे, जिसके लिए आप इतनी तैयारी कर रहे थे, वो फाइनली आप कर सकते हैं, तो आपको ये एक और encouragement मिलता है कि मुझ में है वो चीज. You don't have to look it, you don't have to look out, you
Yeah.
don't have to, आपको कोई मिरेकल नहीं होने वाला है, कोई मैजिक पिल नहीं खानी है. आपके अंदर वो काबिलियत है, आपके अंदर ही वो कैपेबिलिटी है कि आप कर सकते हैं, बशर्ते आपको वो डायरेक्शन चाहिए. सो आई थिंक आई एम अ गुड एग्जाम्पल घर के लिए. आई एम अ गुड एग्जाम्पल. when kids watch me, मुझे पता नहीं था ऐसा होने वाला है, but I did not want to force as well, because you can't force this. You can
Yeah.
only teach them, you can only, but they have to learn and they have to understand. Till you do not do a thing, till you do not, आप वो काम कर नहीं रहे, आपको पता कैसे चलेगा कि इसमें मजा है नहीं है, this is for you, or just I'm just glad that it's just, everything fell into place, and I'm a happy mom.
Yes, yes. The great example.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that, Sonali. So, looping in Rita. So, Rita, you told us about you took up this fitness journey to help train your son. So, why don't you give some insights on that?
Yeah, of course, it's very, very unconventional. A lot of people are not aware of what autism is, and I have been trying to associate myself and work with various autism societies. In fact, for doing his graduation and post graduation, I had to send him to UK. Here it wouldn't have been. I tried for 4 long years. It wasn't possible here at all. It was very, very difficult, very, very difficult journey for me. So when he started weight training, he wanted to do something like that, get six pack and stuff like that. But we have to have peace and accept who we are. Everybody has a different fitness journey, and we just can't push a person. As Sonali said, you can take the horses to the water, you can't make them drink it. You cannot
Yeah.
force anything. It has to come from within you. So I took him to the gym. He still does a lot of weight training every day. He's very fit, he looks great, but he doesn't want to sometimes come to the gym and train with me. He says that you train very heavy and people compare, and people comment. So I let him be, I give him the space, but we are happy together. And when I go to the gym, I take him with me, to click pictures and do stuff like that. So it's like we understand the drive in each other. And now I have started training Kalaripayat also. That's a martial art.
Yeah.
And I owe it a lot to my fitness journey, because at every point of time, as I said, we are exploring not only our body but our minds also. And there is such difficult and tremendous moves in Kalaripayat. But if you have the faith, then you say that if it is humanly possible, if the human possibility is there, that is why these things have been created. And so you give yourself the time, space, and be kind to your body, that you don't have to do it like a pro, right from the very first day. Just have faith and be consistent, and then you learn it. So I have been through the process of learning, unlearning, relearning, and accepting. So that with us, as I say, it's always the mind, as Sonali also mentioned, that it is the mind that you need to convince and be happy about. We all have biomechanics that may have certain advantages as well as disadvantages. So we all just accept each other the way we are, our likes, dislikes, and we move together. But definitely it goes without saying that every person, every individual must have something to look forward to when it comes to maintaining your fitness and being kind to yourself. Trying to have a fitness journey by hurting yourself and training yourself too sore is may not also be very kind. So we need to know where the equilibrium is.
Thank you for that, Rita. So I found this really fun question in the comments. So the question is, do you have cheat meals?
I
So
saw someone asking that.
yeah. So I think Sonali, you should go first here.
सी अनिरुद्ध मैं दोनों एस्पेक्ट से के हिसाब से बात करूंगी करंटली आई एम नॉट competing. So the last I competed was in 2017. So when you're prepping for a show, I definitely have a cheat meal in a week. So it's not a cheat day for me, it's a cheat meal in a week. But right now I'm just maintaining, I'm just leading a healthy lifestyle, a good lifestyle where I can enjoy everything in moderation. So I don't have a specific cheat day or a cheat meal अभी. अगर मेरा मुझे मन कर रहा है आइसक्रीम खाने का तो I can go and have a cheat day. But yes, am I tracking my nutrition? Very much so. In fact, at times I even track my macros just to make sure that I don't go overboard or exceed the calories. I really do not want to do that. I love what I do. I enjoy my trainings. I enjoy my food, my meals, because वो extreme नहीं है. But yes, when I'm competing, uh, when you're competing, you're a sports person, you have a certain goal, you have to be your best, and you are competing against the best, then everything has to be very specific. Everything is very specific. You have to weigh your your meals. You have to make sure कि जो आपको चाहिए, जितनी quantity में चाहिए, जो ingredient होना चाहिए वो वैसे का वैसे ही होना चाहिए, because you have a certain goal. Right now my goal is to just have have an amazing time with the kids. They have their exams going on, and I'm not sure if I would be competing this year, because I'm not sure how it's going to be, whether you would be able to travel or whatever. But I'm just enjoying my trainings, like हमेशा की तरह I'm enjoying my trainings. I do not miss my training. I still lift heavy. I still lift like an athlete, because that's the mindset that I carry. And I eat like an athlete, so I don't diet, and I really don't go overboard.
What are your views on that, Rita?
Okay, yes, this is something a beautiful question actually, and it's very important also to understand that. As Sonali said, that when you're competing, definitely, you're competing against, like, especially if you're competing internationally, you're competing against champions across the globe, and you have absolutely no control over genetics and the circumstances and the age group of the other women who are there. But when you are, so you there is no compromise. There's just no scope. But otherwise in life, I think everybody must have a balance. Competing is something which you're going so low on the calories, the fat percentage goes so low that you need a certain amount of fat for the metabolism of the nerves and for the development of the synovial fluid and the functioning of the brain and so on. You need a certain amount of fat. You need a certain amount of subcutaneous fat. Especially if you're in mental work, you really need a lot of that. So and also for your hormones. So it is not healthy to be in absolute competitive stage throughout. So that is one thing. So what I do is, I don't want to lose what I may formed of myself with such kind of hard work and a lot of sacrifice. What I do is, I always work on my goals, and I feel that this is a lifelong process. It's a process. It's not one isolated goal. It's a process. The day you eat more, you're going to be, you're going to grow fat. So my goal is always my habit. I work on the formation of a habit. Like, if I want to leave my bed tea, I will work. My goal is leaving the bed tea. My goal is not coming to a certain amount of, food or, kind of diet or anything like that. And I don't want to, I'm kind of clinging on to my eating habits, and I usually don't have a cheat meal at all. But when I'm traveling, and when I'm in say I'm in a prolonged meeting where there is no control over, I have to go out and I'm not going to come back. I'm not able to come back in time. Like, sometimes we do the Bharatnatyam performances. We stay for, like, say 12 hours at the Tamil Nadu house. And at that time, we get this idli dosa at the cafe of the Tamil Nadu Bhavan. We have that. I mean, it's fine. So I'm not as strict about it. But nevertheless, I don't want to give away. And so there is a lot of balance now. My physical activity has increased. It may not be very intense, when it comes to cardio, but because I'm doing the Kalaripayat as well as the weight training, as well as the Bharatanatyam. So, it takes a lot from me. So I cannot go on a very calorie restricted diet. So, I work it out like that. But my primary approach is just two things, that I work on my habits and not on my goal. My habit, I should be working on formation of a certain habit. And I always try to condition and recondition my mind. That is one thing. And the second thing is that I need to be very functional, that I'm able to perform, because now I'm not in a busy appearance and presentation related sport. I'm more into performance oriented targets, so I should be able to perform. And the third thing is that my cheat meal happens. I'm not strict about it when I'm having a prolonged travel and I have absolutely no control. So I tell myself that, okay, this is I have I've been a good girl, and so this is the time that I can indulge and give myself a treat. So I give a kind of a prize to myself, I reward myself. So that's how my approach goes with cheat meals.
Thank you for that. So going back to our previous conversation, we were talking about kids.
Yes.
So how important is it for kids to adopt a, fitness lifestyle early on in their lives? So Rita, if you want to go first.
Yes, that's a beautiful question. And, obviously, I mean, I know that this is what Sonali will also say, that the foundation is very important. Those are the formative years, the childhood, the puberty, all the hormones are there, and they lay the foundation. So it is so important to teach them. If you talk about the children who go to Olympics, or who do well in sports, or who are just having a strong and healthy agile life, and getting up early is a kind of a part of their lifestyle and habit. It stays with them until the end. If you look at a woman who is in her 50s, I'm not specifically speaking about me and Sonali, any woman who looks good in her 50s, you can imagine what she must have done throughout her life. If suddenly she is like 50 years old, and one fine day, with a very bad shape and all the cholesterol and high sugar levels, suddenly, like he or she, they decide that we want to be fit, they can, but it will still take time. So if you start early, it comes in a very, very natural way. So I'll just give you a couple of examples. Like my Bharatnatyam guru, she's 83 years old. She performs all over the world. So she started because her body was made to form like that, because she comes from a generation, from a family where it has been going on since generations. So her body is formed like that, and she's super agile, super active. And if somebody thinks in 80s that one fine day it's never too late, all those cliches, and she starts, it will be very difficult. She can reach to a certain stature, but not that kind of level, where all the musculatures around the joints are developed. So, that is one thing which we need to understand, how important early training is. Uh, for Kalaripayat also, it's usually at the age of 6 or 7 when they do somersaults and headstands and handstands, and they're so agile. I have started in 50s, and I know what it takes. Like, I cannot go with the speed of the, as all the other small children are going. I feel like a big auntie amongst them, but that's where I give up on my ego, and
Yeah.
I try to, no matter how clumsy I am, I try to set an example that don't worry about your clumsiness. But yes, if I would have started early, I would have been damn good. So I realized that in so many aspects of my life. It is like, thank goodness I've been doing what I've been doing. That is why, as a 50-year-old student, I stand among 10-year-old children. That is there. So it really, I think, puts it in perspective, that as to how important early training is. And definitely, it gives you good habits and good structure. Those are your formative years, and you can take it up to the end of your life. And it's like a bank, like lean muscle mass. The more you exercise, the more lean muscle mass is formed. And after a certain age, every decade, you start losing a certain percentage of lean muscle mass. So when you start losing it, by the time you grow old, if you have sufficient amount of lean muscle mass and bone density, it is not completely exhausted. You're still strong. So you need to build on it as early as possible. And having a mother like, say, Sonali, if you have a mother like that, then she's doing a great service not only to her children but also to the nation, because you are
Yeah.
setting an example that because when the children see a mother, definitely they will, no matter how good or bad the child is, there will be something, some element of liking for fitness, even in the children. So you actually set a trend. So that's how I feel early training is so important.
I
Thank you.
completely agree with Rita. The fact that I've always believed that kids are like sponge, you know. वो उनको आप जो चीज आप दोगे जिस हिसाब से मोल्ड करना चाहोगे they want to try, they are so eager to try, they want to know, they want to learn. That's the best part, best part about being a kid. So like I said that I introduced them to calisthenics. I had I had no expectations whatsoever. I just wanted them to give it a try, and I'm so glad that they're actually enjoying it. I mean, 14 and 17, my son is 14 and my daughter is 17, and they could have started early, but I just did not want to put any kind of pressure, and I really did not want to force them. My daughter also plays football, and my son is more into dancing, and I'm absolutely happy about it. But the fact that till they're not exposed to, there are a million things that they could try. At least give them that opportunity. That's extremely important. Also the fact that I say that I started at 37, and उस वक्त मैंने बोला था कि ये लेट हो गया, अगर मैंने जल्दी शुरू किया होता तो मैं शायद क्या कर सकती थी. I
Yeah.
give the exact same example. I started at 37. I'm 46 now, and I'm only getting better. Can you just imagine if you're in your teens and you take up a sport and you keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, you're only going to get better. So it's a win-win situation. So if you have a kid and just encourage them to take up a sport, some sort of physical activity, whatever, जो भी उनका मन करता है, जिस फील्ड में जाना चाहते हैं, अगर वो उस चीज को हर रोज कर रहे हैं, बार बार कर रहे हैं, बार बार कर रहे हैं, I mean, they're only gonna get better. So if I started 37 and I'm only getting better and I'm 46, Rita is just amazing, and she's वो अभी तक अपने आप को बेटर ही करती जा रही है, बेटर ही करती जा रही है. कैन यू जस्ट इमेजिन योर किड हैज द पोटेंशियल. अगर आप उन्हें इनकरेज करेंगे, इफ यू लाइक यू सेड, वो फाउंडेशन वो जरूरी है, फॉर्मेटिव ईयर्स की फाउंडेशन, बिकॉज वो स्पंज की तरह है. आप उन्हें वो अपॉर्चुनिटी दो, उनको 10 चीजें बताओ कि ये गेम भी है, ये गेम भी है, ये भी है, ये भी है, एंड लेट देम go and try. They will fall and they will get up. They may not like one thing, but they would definitely like something else. And that's how it goes, and that's how it is. It's very normal कि उन्हें कुछ चीज पसंद आएगी, कुछ चीज नहीं पसंद आएगी, but encourage them. That's extremely important. Encourage them to follow their art.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
really like the, yeah, yeah.
I may add that these days children, they tend to get swayed into a lot of activities that may not be very desirable, especially, the parents may not like it. And also that social media is like something which is it's like a double-edged sword, so it can do a lot of good. So for a certain period of time, like say when they're at the gym or while they're playing a sport, they can be away from all the activities which are it gives them a kind of space, mental space, and they can stay away from that. So and also the sports psychology, losing graciously and respecting the other contenders. These are values. They come when you go to the gym and you see a person who is more fit than you. How to be, how to distinguish between envy, jealousy, and getting inspired and taking it as an example and respecting, your fellow athlete. So these kind of values, they come because once you're exposed to it, even if you have a certain level of negativity in you, you will learn over a period of time to conquer, accept, and live with it graciously. So that is also something which is extremely good for children to learn.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, Rita. And I really like the way how Sonali mentioned. I mean, you have so many people looking up to you, Sonali, and here you are sitting and you're telling, you're saying that you look up to Rita. And I really admire the mutual respect here between the two of you. I really admire that, the mutual respect that you hold for each other. It's really heartening to see that.
I want to be like her when I in another few years, एक दो साल के अंदर ही.
That is your
She's such
greatness.
an amazing person, not just the topmost bodybuilder, but she's a beautiful person. That's what I love about her. She is very warm, a warm person, and with a beautiful heart. So she is
Thank you.
one of the best people, frankly speaking.
Thank you, very kind. That is your greatness, as I said. It's your greatness.
So yeah, moving on. So I think, yeah, Sonali, for you, you'll go first. The question is, what what does the future of female bodybuilding in India look like to you?
I am so glad that things have changed for good. I mean, since 2014, when I competed in March 2014, since then it's to 2021. There are so many females in the industry. There are so many female competitors who are rocking the stage, setting the stage on fire. They look amazing. They are as good, or some of them are even better than the women we see international international athletes. They are so good. It's amazing. So I only see I would only say that the future is extremely bright. There are so many federations want to come to India. There are so many coaches who are from abroad, and they want to they want to set their academies here. In fact, they want to train Indian athletes. It's amazing because they see the potential. Actually, हमारी आदत क्या है, हम हमेशा अपने आप को अंडर एस्टिमेट ही करते आए हैं. हमें हमेशा ये लगता रहा है कि हम में शायद कुछ खामियां हैं, बट दैट्स नॉट द केस. पता नहीं ऐसा हमारा माइंडसेट बनाया गया होगा. But everybody knows now, we don't even have to prove anything to anyone. We are fabulous. We have it in us. I'm just so it's nice to see that the world is accepting. In fact, world तो बहुत पहले ही accept कर रहा था. ये तो इंडिया में ही problem थी that people, our Indians have this mindset कि knowledge की कमी है, awareness की कमी है, education की कमी है. इसीलिए ये सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हुई हैं. अदरवाइज वर्ल्ड ने तो बहुत पहले ही एक्सेप्ट कर लिया था. वी हैव अमेजिंग बॉडी बिल्डर्स. बहुत अच्छे अच्छे बॉडी बिल्डर्स हैं. आई डू अंडरस्टैंड द फैक्ट दैट सम ऑफ देम कम फ्रॉम वेरी पुअर बैकग्राउंड, जिनके पास उतना फाइनेंशियल सिक्योरिटी नहीं है कि वो कोच हायर कर सके, या फिर अपनी न्यूट्रिशन पे, अपनी डाइट पे, अपने सप्लीमेंट्स पे ध्यान दे सके. I completely understand that. That is where I feel कि वहां पे हमें जरूरत है कि financial help हमें, when government can help other sports persons, then it's about time कि कुछ help हमारी industry को भी मिले, because some of them really deserve, but it's just that they don't have the financial help from anyone. In fact, हम लोग एक दूसरे की हेल्प करते हैं. एंड आई एम ग्लैड, आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू से दैट एटलीस्ट दैट इंडस्ट्री में वी स्टैंड टुगेदर, we stand for each other, and we stand together, and we try to do as much as we can, even if it's through a single post, if it's through single story, if it's through some event or whatever, but at least we are there for each other. But it's we do need, there are people who really, some good athletes who really need our support, everyone's support.
Yeah, thank you. And looping
Yes,
in
yes.
Rita here.
Yes, when it comes to, of course, I'll just quickly echo that I have seen there was a very poor bodybuilder, Manoj Majumdar from West Bengal. That's a very typical example. He didn't have money, he didn't have anything, he couldn't travel. He went for World Police Games. The weighing in weighing in was over. Out of the way, they just weighed him, and he just came from the airport, put his bag behind the stage, went on stage, and won the gold medal. He is very poor, not much on social media. Because I was associated with the federation, I have seen so many of such cases. So we have some of the best bodybuilders in the world, but yes, they weren't highlighted. Thankfully, we have social media today and people who are there, like your platform also, the bridge is trying to promote sportsmen, because sportsmen are so engrossed in their sport that it is difficult to highlight themselves and work on marketing and stuff like that. It's not an easy job when you're so focused on competitive aspect. Coming to female bodybuilding, yes, we started obviously both almost, when there were hardly any women, and now a lot of women, they come up to me and say, we started when we saw you, and I mean, that gives me an all-time high. But talking about the long-term aspect of female bodybuilding, when we talk about the IFBB, they have now started. First, that we had only conventional female bodybuilding, say in 80s and 90s, where which was too freaky and not very feminine. But now we have divisions like the figure, bikini, wellness, fitness, which has certain gymnastic moves and strength flexibility moves and all that sort of stuff. So when we have that, every woman, according to her genetic potential, can can take up a division and compete in that. So you are actually becoming the best version of yourself, and that is one of the primary reasons why a lot of women are able to come forward and compete, because they know that they have a normal a woman like future for them even after they leave. It's not just that one specific division with extreme striation, separation and muscularity. You just have to be the best version of yourself, and that in a certain sense is the essence of life. This since there are female bodybuilders who are competing, they are also example, though we have a very small percentage of Indian women are competing even now, and to the larger society, these women, these very few women, if I may say, even now, they are an example to the rest of their society, that how wonderful it is when you grow older and you are able to take care of your children, your family. You can be super dynamic, you can work a lot, you can live your life to the fullest potential. And there is an aspect, as Maslow's need theory says, that there is a aspect of self-actualization of a human being.
Yeah.
That you have got birth in this on this earth in human form, and there is so much to explore, and that you can do only when you're fit. And women were never allowed, if you talk about history, queens were using fake names to write poetry. Women were never allowed to educate themselves. So female bodybuilding in a certain way, like a transferred epithet, if I may say so, manifests itself in womanhood, to the larger society, and goes out into the world, that women must take care of themselves. Self-love is actually human love, and you're setting example that you must live your life to the fullest. I'm like really so glad that the bodybuilding federations have come up with divisions like that, that women don't need to be somebody else. They can just be the best version of themselves and choose a division that suits them and compete there. And it's not the medal that they carry. The medals will be lying in some corner of your house one day. Everybody will forget about it. Even Sachin Tendulkar has to retire one day. Even Kapil Dev has to retire one day. All the athletes retire one day. But what they carry away from that and they give to the rest of the society, that is, I think, the main benefit which the female bodybuilding is giving to all of us.
Yeah.
And
Thank
I
you.
may add one thing, that wearing the bikini is actually, when you go and compete on a stage and you wear a bikini and you're judged by thousands of people, and you're competing against champions, there is no scope for cheating. And I think it's sanctity in its extreme and purest form. So I feel that let us look upon it like this, that bikini is actually the most sacred dress. And this thought process also must come forward in the society, and that only bodybuilding can do.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that, Rita. And we've already spoken for almost an hour, so I'll just pitch the last question of the evening.
Yeah, you will be
And the
saving
question
this
is,
because it's for me, it's a precious one with Sonali. You'll be saving this. You will be saving
yes,
this
yes,
live.
yes, we will be, yes, 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 we will be. And yeah, moving on to the final question. What is your message to your juniors? Sonali, if you want to go first.
Um, okay, I'll be very honest here, and I'll it comes straight from my heart is that I do understand there are a lot of girls now in the industry, lot of girls, lot of female athletes there. I just want them to, understand that at the end of the day, it is their health, it is their life, it is their decision. This is what they want to do. You do not have to worry about anyone. You do not have to think what the society has to say, what anyone has to say for that matter. You have to be honest and true to yourself. This is what you have chosen. Give your heart and soul. For that matter, आप अपनी जिंदगी में कुछ करना चाहते हैं, कुछ हासिल करना चाहते हैं, it won't just happen just like that. उसके लिए आपको मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. You will have to take that first step. So give your heart and soul. But उससे पहले just decide if this is for you. Don't be just fooled, by all the stuff that you see on social media. I just want to tell you guys, जो आप social media पे देखते हैं, वो बहुत restricted content है. So it's not all that glamorous. One fine day you just want to be a brand ambassador. I want to talk about it is because there are so many people who just want to get that name and fame in no time. And everybody wants to be famous. There's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in that. But the fact is that it takes time and do it the right way. It has taken me 6 to 7 years. रीटा जी को बहुत टाइम हो गया इस इंडस्ट्री में. कोई भी चीज एक महीने में, एक साल में भी नहीं. उसके लिए बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ी, इतना काम करना पड़ा, इतना एफर्ट डालना पड़ा. एवरी सिंगल डे टू दिस डे वी आर पुटिंग इन all the effort, all the hard work. So it is not going to happen in one day. Don't look for shortcuts. Please do not look for shortcuts. जो चीज आपके लिए बनाई गई है, जो आपके फेट में है, उसके लिए आपको मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. अगर आप मेहनत कर रहे हैं तो वो चीज आएगी. आज नहीं तो कल, लेकिन वो चीज आपको 100% मिलेगी. बट उसके लिए शॉर्टकट मत लीजिए. अगर आपका गोल सिर्फ मनी और फेम है, then I'm so sorry. This is not the life that you want. This is not for you. अगर आपको फेम मिलना है तो आप बहुत तरीकों से फेम हासिल कर सकते हैं. But if you're passionate about it, if you're truly passionate about it, then go for it without even thinking कि मुझे ये कब मिलने वाला है, ये कब होगा, ये कैसे होगा. Even when I talk to my clients, और clients ये गोल लेकर आते हैं कि मुझे 15 दिन में इतना किलो वजन कम करना है, because I have to attend a wedding, I have a shoot, or I have a this, or I have a that. Long term goal क्या है आपका? Health, right? It's all about your health. So if it is about money, there's nothing wrong, but that should not be your primary focus. आपका money और primary focus आपका fame नहीं होना चाहिए. Primary focus होना चाहिए कि आज I have to show up. I have to show up today. Even when you're not motivated, even when you feel like giving up, you have to show up. Today, tomorrow, every single day, 365 days, 366 days. ये हर रोज करना है. जब आप ये कर रहे होंगे तो सक्सेस अपने आप आएगी. So आप वो चीज दिमाग में लेकर मत चलो. I know so many people want to get famous because सबने ग्लैमर देखा है. सबने देखा है कि रीटा मैम ये काम कर रही है, रीटा मैम को वहां पे बुलाया जा रहा है, यहाँ पे अवार्ड दिया जा रहा है, सोनाली मैम को यहाँ पे अवार्ड दिया जा रहा है. सबको अवार्ड चाहिए, सबको फेम चाहिए, सबको एसोसिएशन चाहिए, कोलैबोरेशन चाहिए. लेकिन कोई ये नहीं देख रहा है कि यहाँ पर आने के लिए इतने साल लगे हैं. कुछ एक दिन में नहीं हुआ. इसके लिए बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ी. और हमारा मेन एम ही ये नहीं था. गोल हमारा ये नहीं था. गोल हमारा ये था कि हम अपने आप को बेहतर करें, टू बी बेटर. Every single time we are putting an effort, every single time we are stepping on the stage, we want to beat our last physique, जो भी हमारी physique पुरानी थी. And at the same time, we are talking about it, opening the doors, for other women, especially Indian moms and married women, ताकि उनको ये लगे कि there's सब कुछ over नहीं हो गया. There is so much to do in your life. Just because you're married and just because you're mom, your life doesn't get over. वहां से तो शुरुआत होनी चाहिए. बिकॉज you have kids who look up to you, तो अभी तो आपको उनकी लाइफ भी बनानी है. तो आपकी लाइफ खत्म नहीं होती. ये चीजें हम अपनी जर्नी में, थ्रू आउट आवर जर्नी, वी आर डूइंग दैट एंड वी आर स्टिल लर्निंग. शी स्टार्टेड टू लर्न कलरी. I started learning calisthenics. मेरे तो सर पैर कुछ समझ नहीं आते, but I'm trying. I'm doing it. तो चीजें ओवरनाइट नहीं होने वाली है. मैं सिर्फ अपने जूनियर्स को यही सलाह देना चाहती हूँ कि फेम और मनी आएगा. वो आपके नसीब में है, आएगा, पर उसके लिए मेहनत करनी है. सो दैट उसको फोकस पे लेकर मत चलिए. आपका काम है, योर जॉब इज टू शो अप एवरी सिंगल डे. योर जॉब इज टू बी एज कंसिस्टेंट एज पॉसिबल एवरी सिंगल डे. एंड डू नॉट कंपेयर योरसेल्फ. आप अपने आप को दूसरे के साथ कंपेयर मत करो. दैट विल रूइन योर लाइफ. इट विल कंप्लीटली रूइन योर लाइफ. तो ये दो चीजें हैं. एक चीज तो ये है कि आपका फोकस बहुत जरूरी है. आपका वो जो टनल विजन है ना, वो बहुत जरूरी है कि वो विजन क्या है आपका. और दूसरा, कंपैरिजन इज द थीफ ऑफ जॉय. सो डोंट डू दैट.
Thank you for that, Sonali. And yeah, final words from you, Rita.
Okay, I don't know how much time is left, but I will try to finish it very quickly. I would like to just tell everybody that just work unapologetically, and whatever you do should come from the heart. And if you're competing, so the essence of Bhagavad Gita, that कर्म करो और फल की चिंता मत करो. You have no control. You cannot say कि मैं hard work करके 6 feet की हो जाऊंगी, या I can change the shape of my nose. You cannot do that. So you have a certain structure of the femur, or biomechanics. Or a certain kind of proportion of the type 1 and type 2, fast twitch, slow twitch muscle fibers and all that. So there will always be limitations. There will always be advantages which you have absolutely no control over. So just become the best version of yourself, and don't attach yourself to medals, and don't hurt yourself emotionally, and work unapologetically. If somebody is trying to oppose you, just ignore that, and people will eventually learn to adjust with you, and when you're glorious, people will respect you and love you for what you are. And always, so don't attach yourself to the medals, but think what you can take away from the bodybuilding stage, and that should stay with you until the end of your life, and improve the quality of all women around you. And be loving towards your family, and then I love you all. That's it.
Thank you. And with this, we've approached the end of this session. And thank you to the both of you for your time. And it was wonderful conversing with you. It was supposed to be, the live was supposed to be for 35 minutes, but it took us 1 hour. So it was wonderful conversing with you. And we'll see you around soon. Thank you.
All right, and thank you for
you.
having me
It
with
was lovely.
Ali. It's very, very special for me to be with her. Yes, as you said, a lot of people look up to her, and I think I'll always cherish this session very, very fondly forever. And I hope that we have met.
Same here. The feeling is mutual. The
Yeah.
feeling is
Thank
mutual. It was lovely to be here. Thank you so much, Anirudh.
Yeah.
Lovely
Thank you.
seeing you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Good wishes. Stay safe.